I was diagnosed with colon cancer on September 12th, 2011 at 2 in the afternoon.
So people ask me, who gets colon cancer?
I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer.
Men and women can get colon cancer.
I was diagnosed with rectal cancer.
Every race can get colon cancer.
The early part of 2014.
So about 90% of cases are diagnosed in individuals over the age of 50 years old.
February 18th of 2010.
That being said, there's a rise actually in patients under that age for about the last 10 years.
My wife, Tarika, was diagnosed at 34 years old.
No one really knows specifically why that's the case, but we do know we're seeing it more and more commonly in younger patients as well.
With terminal or stage 4 colon cancer.
When a patient comes in with a new diagnosis of cancer, first of all, we always make it clear up front what is their stage.
So in September of 2013, I was diagnosed with colon cancer, advanced stage 4.
I believe I had stage 3.
I know in many situations I'm not able to cure somebody's cancer, despite all the best medical technology that's out there and the new drug development that's going on.
It had gone through the wall of my intestines, and I did end up having about, I believe it was like 2 feet of my intestines removed. But they were pretty sure that they had gotten all of it.
Since 2011, I've been stage 4 metastatic cancer, adenocarcinoma, primary site rectum.
By the time we had metastases to the lungs, by the time there was such significant invasion into the colon wall, at that point it was the circumstances were at their most grave. It was not something that we could have addressed.
People like to think that people get cancer for a reason, and there probably is some kind of reason out there, but we don't know the answer to that in most circumstances. And they die of the disease because it spreads to other parts of their body, and we don't currently have really good treatments for people who have metastatic disease. Without research to improve the odds for people with metastatic cancer, that number will remain incredibly low.
Only a little over 12% of people diagnosed with advanced stage colon cancer live more than 5 years. And so I became energized around figuring out, how do I become part of that 12%? And how do we get more people to become 20%, 30%? I think my natural reaction was to say, how do I take this on like I've done everything in my work? And how can I create a mission around what I want to achieve? And try not to get caught up in the pity party, which is pretty easy to do. And instead say, what can I do? As I had been learning more and more about the kind of research that was being done, as I was learning more about what a cancer patient experiences as they're going through this journey, really 2 things resonated with me. One, the need to find a cure. The fact that there is a very limited number of options for advanced stage treatment in terms of treatment plans and medication and tools that are available to help cure people. And then also found that it doesn't matter if you're living if you can't have a quality of life and enjoy life to some extent while you're in treatment.
Research, that's one of the things that brought me to the University of Minnesota, is being able to not only provide care, but also learning how to make that care better.
About a quarter of all deaths in the U.S. are due to cancer. So we are not in charge of this disease. This disease is still in charge of us. So my research is to try and figure out what it is that changes in a cell that makes it a cancer cell, and then hopefully find drugs that can counteract that change.
So in our laboratory, we're trying to investigate that question on the basis of understanding how cells communicate. And we're devising ways to understand how this communication is critical to allowing tumors to reform even after patients have had surgery, with the thought process being, if this is critically important, can we use drugs to try and cut off the lines of communication?
We're also hoping that part of my clinical practice and the research that I do and being here at the University of Minnesota is advancing the science so that we have better treatment options for our patients, that not as many people are dying of our cancers, that more people are cured from it, so that not only are treatments less toxic, less side effects, but that they're also helping people live longer.
There's incredible work in getting the body's immune system to attack cancer cells. We're starting to understand how to control the immune system more than we ever could. There are these new targeted therapies that in some cases have caused miracles.
I would venture my wife lived an additional 2 years because of the use of biologics, biotech products along with standard chemo. And there's suggestion that those kind of numbers can continue to grow to be upwards of 5 years, 7 years, a decade.
Money is essential to performing research. We do rely on seed funding from agencies that are willing to kind of look beyond the immediate reward, so to speak, and have the vision and creativity to understand there are more ways that have not yet been explored that potentially could be, quote, the next big thing.
What I do in cancer research will make a difference. If I didn't believe that, I'd stop doing it today. I can't predict when or what that difference will be, but looking at advances in general in the field of cancer, they happen randomly, they happen sometimes in places you'd never expect, but they happen. And to get there, you have to be the fertile mind that's ready for the lucky break that you get. And that's what I'm looking for. And that's what I work for every day.
"50,000 people will die this year, and I will most likely be one of them. We have an opportunity now to make a difference in the lives of so many other people who don't need to die from this disease. We can find a cure with your help."
Without the research that had been done previously, I would not be sitting here right now in the condition that I'm in.
I have never once said, why me? I don't want to dwell on what's behind me. I want to dwell on what's ahead of me. I want to face it head on.
The fact that I've now gone 14 months without evidence of disease, the future's starting to creep into my thoughts a little bit, more than it has in the last 3.5 years.
I think what gives me hope is that there are such dedicated individuals in the medical community, selfless individuals that are doing the good work day in and day out. With the proper funding, many of the things that we continue to, as a society, continue to suffer with are little by little going to disappear.
Because that's the whole purpose of doing research. If it's not going to lead to betterment of human suffering, there's no point in doing research.
But it's really working with patients like Deanna that remind us today is precious and take advantage of today. And to me, that's hope.